Welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to your boy PFUNK at YouTube Classroom, doing what I do for you. Today, I'm going to talk about something near and dear to my heart. Or anytime I talk about Egypt, God, and spirituality, that's what's near and dear to my heart. Okay, so that's what we're doing now. Stuff that's near and dear to my heart, like this. Excuse me. Right here, some 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message, message in the story. Today, we're going to ask the question: what can we learn from Egypt that we ain't already learned? There's always something to learn because we still there digging, we still there finding artifacts, we still bringing up history. Trust me, Egypt is rich, rich, rich. It's done been raped and pillaged, and it's still got riches to be had. So understand that. We're gonna talk about it. Everything we think we know comes from Egypt. That's my concept. Watch this. I've been studying over 30 years. And the one common thing I found out about Egypt is everybody goes there and takes something from them. Everybody. Okay, let's go. They were spiritual people, godly, and living a righteous life. That's what they aspired to do as a people. Hence the 3 or 4 thousand years of peaceful living until invaders came and started taking them over. But living civilization, they had it laid out better than anybody ever since. And right now, we still ain't better than them. I'm here. I wasn't there, but from what I know about them, when I know them, we was a lot smarter, a lot better individually. People wanted to do better. Now we just got people just don't care. So I know times have changed, things change, but good has always been good. Spiritual, it's always been spiritual. Here we go. Egyptians started what we now call civilization, society. We mimicking them pretty much, and we just following their footsteps, but we ain't nowhere near spiritual as they were. They was known as the most spiritual people on earth. Everybody came to them or came invaded them or even connected with them. They were some spiritual people. Just how they lost what they had. Why? Because other people wasn't spiritual. Ask the Indians. When you're spiritual and you're godly and the guy you're dealing with is unspiritual and ungodly, you're gonna lose. Okay, here we go. Egyptians started what we now call religion. Again, they didn't call it religion. It's a mystery system, way of life. Like I call right thoughts philosophy. It ain't no, it's a way of life. It ain't a philosophical concept that you can just preach and pray. No, you have to live it. Learn it. It constantly grows like the universe. It's constantly expanding. It's constantly getting on itself. You get better at what you do as you get older. If you ain't getting smarter as you get older, what are you doing? Just aging? That's a waste of time. Okay, excuse me. Another tangent. Egyptians was the first people to put down in writing hieroglyphics, mathematics, master builders, artifacts, making pottery, arts, arts and crafts, everything that we pretty much doing today. The Egyptians put it down for us. Okay, laid the foundation. The Egyptian gave us God, God's concepts. Yeah, that's where it comes from. Living right, doing right. Maya, they lived Maya. 20 years ago, I mean, people say, well, how you living? I tell them Maya. It didn't catch on. I'm back. Still living Maya. So, I don't know if y'all catching on to it, but I'm not leaving it alone because I know it worked. Here we go. Next one is, did the Egyptians have schools? They was based on knowledge of self. Okay, here we go. Yes, education was the way of life, just like we have now. You got to take the kid to the nursery and go to school, and we educate them in our nonsensical program that they give them useless information to go through. Like they got to decipher that and figure out it was all waste of their time. Let's start being honest and truthful with them at young. We don't have to worry about that brainwashing, unbrainwash them, and you brainwash them, and then you got to unbrainwash them. Then all that waste of time. Tell the truth in the beginning. Be honest. Okay. Yes, the creation story was to educate the people to themselves. I'm telling you about the gods. I just gave you this lesson about gods, what they mean. They would live this. This wasn't something that they just took lightly. We got churches all over. We got church everywhere. They didn't have temples everywhere. It was strategically set up, and this where you went to get the education. So everybody got the same education, the same truth. Okay? Here we go. Yes, knowledge was the most in order to pass the judgment. Knowledge was a must, excuse me. You must have knowledge and consciousness of God, the presence of Him in you. Hence, know thyself. Lack of knowledge, ignorance, don't know God. Okay, can't be God-fearing people if you don't know God. Mm-hmm. Your ignorance was the enemy of knowledge, so nobody wanted to be ignorant. Knowledge of self is the way to go. That's all. Yes, the temples was the place for educating for all people. You come, abide by the rules in the temple, and you get your lessons. That's all you gotta do. Next one is Egyptian teachers were called sage, high priests, and priestesses. Yeah, we had female high priestesses. Not today. Women can't do nothing in the church. I'm gonna leave that there. Ancient times, women were respected and revered. They had a voice. They had a right. They just started voting to what, the 1920s. So in the Middle East, I still treat women as concubine and no respect for them. That don't work for me. Okay, that's not the issue. That ain't what I'm talking about. You talking about the Egyptians? The Egyptians, the sage was the highly knowledgeable ones who taught in the temples. That was their job. They ran the temple. Like the minister and the pastor run the church. They had that. Again, that's where it comes from. The tithe that you get to church to help the church go on down, they call it tithes. Okay, we didn't have that. We had it called donation. I'll say, wasn't a stipulation, wasn't how much, nope. Donate what you could, what you thought was best. That's how I go to church. I give you what I got. Okay. Next one is the high priest also taught the higher levels of spirituality. It was different levels. Yeah. The first, like the masonry, the first 3 levels, okay, you good, that's enough for you. But like in college, some people want to go to high school, some people want to aspire to go to college, they want to continue their education. That's the same thing, same concept spiritually. So different levels of spiritual understanding, different levels of spiritual knowledge. The sage was the most respected after the pharaoh. Excuse me, after the pharaoh. Knowledge of things was valuable. The pharaoh, then you had his high priest, his vizier, Imhotep, the greatest genius, first multi-genius we know about. He was the pharaoh's vizier. He was so good that they end up deifying him and consider him a god. Okay, even good deeds as a man, you can elevate your level to be respected by other men as a god. Okay, that was important. The sage was the enlightened ones who taught truth. They knew it as they knew it. I'm teaching you what I know. I'm not giving you a whole bunch of no. I'm teaching the truth as I know it, what I live, my experiences, my knowledge of things that I've done. That's all I can tell you about. Okay, I study, I read, I understand, I comprehend like everybody else. But I live and experience things that maybe somebody else might not have done that. So I got a little leg up on certain things. Here you go. I spent over 20 years to become a master of myself. I didn't just start doing this last year. No, man, listen, I've been doing this for a long time, and the people who was around me never caught on to it until it actually took place. And they, whoa, yeah, my man. When I walk behind the books, everybody laugh. You got to read where you go. You got a book. You got to read this book. You got to read. You always in that book. You always reading. I was in it for a reason. I was getting information. I was gathering information for me. I was not for y'all, for me. That was all me. For 20 odd years, I did that. Took all the slings and arrows, or everybody had a concept, my viewpoint, what I was doing. I didn't care. Look at me now, okay? But guess what? This is my book. Not the books I read no more. I got that knowledge all up here now. It's already stored away. I accumulated it, so I can give it back. Let's go. Next one is, can we raise our spiritual levels to become like God? That's the whole idea of knowing thyself, raising a spiritual level to reach that nihas. But you have to intake information. You have to live it, do it, practice it on a day-to-day basis. Only way it's going to work. Why think you go to service, you go to basic training for 12 weeks? They figure that's long enough time for you to get acclimated to what they need you to do. And every day they're going to drill you, get you up, take you through the rigors until you get it right. They figure 3 months, you're pretty much acclimated. Now you're ready to go out to do work for us. See? Training. Everything had to be levered, processed. Everything had to go through stages, different levels. Here you go. Yeah, can we read? Yeah, Egyptians was obsessed with life after death because they wanted to make sure they didn't get reincarnated. So they were serious about living a righteous, a good life, following the 42 confessions of Ma'at. We just, yeah, I ain't going there. Here we go. Egyptians' only goal in life was to live Maya and know to be called righteousness, righteous human beings, to be enlightened beings, to make their nihas. Remember, that was part of what they strived to do. They didn't have long life. They didn't have much time. They had to get busy. Egyptian was the highest knowledgeable people on earth, and everybody else has been feeding off them ever since. And when the Greeks came down into Egypt and studied, they went back to Greek. They famous philosophers. They famous scientists, mathematicians. They said about Egyptians. That's just my thing. Egyptians knew man's goal was to become the best himself, God, the essence of who you are. But you had to have conscience. You had to be knowledge. So you had to be smart. Knowledge was important. Educating yourself to yourself was what they tried to aspire to do for everybody. Here we go. Egyptians knew the secrets of transformation of mortality to immortality. They knew that life after death was a whole nother entity, and they strived to make sure they got their stuff together so they can do that. And living right was the way to do it. Last one, Egyptians, let's study their concepts of life. I don't want to wear Egyptian clothes. I don't know. I want the concepts that they live by. Why? Because that's what helped them flourish for thousands of years. So that's what I took, the concepts. Here we go. Egyptians lived a spiritual lifestyle to reach the spiritual afterlife. That's what it's all about. Egyptians lived for the benefit and the dua, which is the afterlife, for judgment. You want the heart to be light as a feather. They knew that when you died, you were going to be checked. Judgment. How you live here. They started that concept, heaven and hell, God. Hell. That's where they come from. They were the originators. Egyptians' concept of Maya for all was a force we don't see. God, that invisible thing, that intangible thing. Like I tell you, I can't tell you about God. I can tell you about my experience of God. That's how I know He exists. Nature, everything here tells us that it's a higher form working. So to play the game, well, we don't know. Okay, you can do that. But common sense will show you somebody's doing this and know what they're doing and have been knowing it for a long time. That's God. So let it go. You can play the game if you want. Egyptians knew all aspects of life that now science proves today. I keep telling you, the concept that they had 5,000 years ago was lived out for 5,000 years. So now the scientists have figured out how to test or prove what they was saying back then, or they believe what the concept was, without having modern technology and all this fancy. No, they believe. The Dogons believed that the Sirius, the star that we know, Sirius, they never saw it. They knew it was there. Somebody told them. They believed it. If somebody tell you the truth and you believe it, you can ride it. Why? Because it's going to play itself out. If somebody tell you a lie, eventually that lie is going to play itself out and you're going to find out to be a lie. Truth will last forever. Lies will run out. That's all. And when you know what you're doing and you following the right people, doing the right thing, you'll benefit. Why? That's how it's done. All right. Last one. Egyptians were the creators of all concepts of God, Allah, Brahman, Atman, Vishnu, all these gods that we name, like He told you. I would be called by many names. I would be sought out by many people, but only a few will make it to me. And that few is the one who became enlightened, became knowledgeable of self, put God first, and put God in their life and watched it manifest for itself. That's all I did. I'm telling you straight out. You don't have to do a whole bunch of running around. Do better for yourself. Understand, get knowledge for self. That's what it's all about. I can't do for somebody else. I can do for myself. I can't speak for nobody else. I just speak for me. I always speak for me. I'm only going to speak for me. I can't speak for the masses. I can't speak for black men. I can't speak for 62-year-old men. I'm going to speak for me. That's all I'm ever going to speak for. Okay? I ain't beat for trying to prove a theory, trying to play the number game. All that is nonsense to me. I don't care. I live and do the best I can for me. I'm letting you know you can do the same for you. That's why I say what I do for you. Give you understanding, give you knowledge of self that you can use and practice and perform for yourself. Everything is based on you. Remember, self-improvement, self-knowledge, knowing thyself, everything is based on you.